And we are back and live. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to a long overdue podcast. It is another 71 podcast, number 93. We're covering the July 2021 CPA exam changes and your questions. And so here we are. If you have a question, please leave it in the comments, so we're live right now. So either leave it in the comments live, or if you watch this later as a recording, you can leave it there and I will see it and answer it in the next podcast. If it's a recording, if it's live, once I'm done answering all of the questions that people submitted, then I'll go back to the comments and hit them up in the chat. All right. So, and if you have a question, you can also email me, Jeff@another71.com. A few disclaimers. Number one, I am very biased. I own a CPA review company, and I answer a lot of the questions through that lens. However, I also recognize that a lot of my customers are also customers of my competitors, and I don't consider them competitors. We all just get along pretty well in most cases. Number two, I am repetitive. So you can pretty much take most study questions and break them down into 3 or 4 different constructs as to how to answer them. And so that's a good thing, is that my answers are relatively simple. I'm a simple guy. But also, just the more that you hear the study methodology, because clearly the word is not getting out, the more you can apply it to your own unique situation. And I'm also going to get very thirsty as I do this. All right. And finally, I'm mostly correct. My wife might disagree with that, but I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've gotten thousands of emails. I've answered thousands of questions, probably tens of thousands of questions over that period of time. And I see the mistakes that candidates make. I've seen what works. You can decide if my answer works for you and apply it accordingly. All right. So first up, Valerie, what are the CPA exam changes after July 1st? Well, the July CPA exam changes were for this last July 2021. So I've been doing this again for 10 or 11 years, and this was in my opinion, the worst update time I can remember. For the first time that I can remember, they did away with content, and then they also added content. And then they also threw in a new blueprint on top of that. And so yeah, this was a pretty substantial change for a couple of the exams. And so we're just going to break that down. So beginning with FAR, they removed IFRS, which I think was a good thing back in 2010 or whenever, maybe 2011, when they added it. There was the whole gap plus IFRS convergence. The differences between the two were getting fewer and fewer, and so they were testing you on the differences. And they've since, I guess, decided to punt that, and consequently, you don't need to know any more IFRS. That's a good thing. I was never a fan of it anyway, but pension accounting is also going away. So I was sad to see my Prius mnemonic go away, and also discontinued operations. Now, discontinued operations as a topic went away, but you obviously need to know how discontinued ops affects the income statement. So that's FAR removals. And so then they added, so while they did away with the pension accounting, they added financial statements for employee benefit plans. And so in the Ninja book in particular, we did away with the entire pension chapter, but then added back the employee benefit plans. Moving on to regulation, they removed the Federal Securities Acts, which, Rule 504, 505 was done away with, and then 506. You don't have to remember that stuff anymore. That's a good thing. Estate tax, I personally would have left estate tax in there, but they didn't ask me. I just think that your average CPA should be generally familiar with estate tax principles, because you're saving up your money, and then when you die, you want to get less of it away. So when you're sitting around the proverbial dinner table at Thanksgiving and your uncle asks you about estate tax, you want to act like or sound like you're reasonably competent, but that's okay. And then AMT, huge fan of AMT leaving. I hated AMT. When I was studying, and glad to see it go. Good riddance, AMT. Now, there weren't really any additions to regulation other than they updated the 2020 tax numbers to 2021 amounts. Now, here's the deal. I see posts in various study groups and whatnot, confusions about medical, Schedule A medical percentages, and net operating loss questions. So we had TCJA, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and then we had the follow-up, which from a review provider standpoint, that was a horrible update, but you don't care about that. Then they had the CARES Act, which was testable on the CPA exam for like 3 months, like September through December or whatever. Now, if you follow the standard AICPA's policy on new pronouncements, then a new tax law is testable 6 months after the enactment date or the effective date, whichever is later. Now, the CARES Act, while it's live through all of 2021 tax law, the AICPA told the CPA review providers that it was no longer testable as of January 1st. So the new net operating loss rules, like 80% of taxable income and all that stuff, that was part of the CARES Act, that's no longer testable, even though it's actual tax law. So it's where there's a difference between actual tax law and the CPA exam tax law. So that's no longer testable. However, I think some providers still have the CARES Act in their materials. And so I get emails, Jeff, why don't you have your materials updated, such and such, showing this? Don't you update? Well, actually I do. And here's why this is wrong. And you should, in this unique instance, Ninja is correct. So make sure that your review provider does not include CARES Act numbers in their 2021 tax law. So, all right, soapbox over. Then BEC, we added business processes, data analytics, and SOC reports. And for SOC reports, if you have the Ninja notes, there's a lot to know about SOC. There's a lot that you could know about SOC reports, but the Ninja notes break it down in a pretty simple format They removed macroeconomics, so no more GDP and stuff like that. Not a huge deal. Auditing also added stock reports and audit data analytics. And so those were the big changes. People ask if FAR got easier. And while I was tempted to say yes, I will never say that FAR got easier. That seems like blasphemy to me. So I will say that FAR got less awful. And essentially what happened was, in my opinion, this is all about my opinion, FAR and regulation were the two toughest exams, and BEC and auditing were not as difficult. And I feel like the changes that they made, while FAR and regulation are still, in my opinion, tougher. There's more parity among the exams. It will be interesting to see when the Q3, Q4 CPA exam pass rates come out, if that actually comes to fruition through the pass rates relative to the Q3 and Q4 windows of other. We don't really have windows anymore with continuous testing, but Q3 and Q4 quarters. So that's the CPA exam updates for July. I hope that was helpful. Moving on to the questions. And again, if you have a question, you can leave it in the comments, or you can email jeff@another71.com. Jasmine writes in, how many CPA study programs market their materials with prescribed study time amounts? How is Ninja CPA different? All right. So there's really two paths to better CPA review materials. One, you can make your materials more effective. So they actually help you to learn the concepts easier. They stick with you better. And two, they can make the materials more efficient. Now, every program out there, they have their pluses and their minuses, including Ninja. If you are annoyed listening or watching this podcast by the sound of my voice, you're not going to like the Ninja audio. I've been told that I also smack my lips a lot. I am proverbial. I am perpetually dehydrated because I drink too much coffee. So that's my weakness, and so that's just how it is. So every course has their pluses and minuses, and one thing that I try to do with Ninja to make it more effective, the Ninja notes. It takes complex information, breaks it down into little, well, I used to call them fact nuggets, and then I called them Ninja nuggets, which Ninja nugget sounds like poop. So I stopped calling them Ninja nuggets. But they break them down into little nuggets so that, I get comments, Jeff, your Ninja notes are so bare bones. Yes, by design. If you want just everything not everything that you could ever want to know about a topic, because there are some review courses that just kind of barf the entire FASBs into their course, and then it's up to you to wade through it. The Ninja book sometimes looks like barf, but it's really whittled down. But if you want just everything, you can read the Ninja book. But the Ninja notes, I think, are a more effective learning tool for helping things stick. And then we also added Ninja Sparring, which Ninja Mike runs the CPA tutoring, and we do that 4 times a week. And what he does is he takes a question, then breaks it out on a spreadsheet and walks through that. I think that's a more effective way of learning, more efficient. We have the Ninja Audio. So the Ninja Audio, while you're driving, while you're at the gym, while you're doing dishes, whatever you're doing, you can listen to the Ninja Audio and study. You can turn drive time into study time. etc. So that's a way to fill in the gaps with more efficient studying. And then also more efficient studying. We have the Ninja MCQ test bank has adaptive learning. We have our training score, which is this complex formula that takes into account blueprint weighting and also how you're doing on your last 250 questions across the entire population of the materials. And so it will help you. The adaptive learning will help you to know how you're doing. But also, if you have the adaptive learning on, it will help you to not waste as much time on topics that you're strong in, and instead help you to focus in on your weaknesses. So 2 paths, more effective and more efficient. And every course has their ways that they're effective and efficient. And that's just how Ninja differentiates itself in that regard. The longer I talk, the harder it will be for the words to come out. Probably the biggest way that Ninja differentiates itself is price. So we're the only subscription-based model among like what I call the big 5 courses in the industry. And yes, Ninja is included in that. And so we're the only ones that will let you subscribe for $67 and then stop. And then you can keep what you've downloaded. There's no minimum stay, whatever. You can start, stop, come back, leave, come back again in 3 months, never come back. It's all up to you. And I don't think anyone else can match that. So hope that's helpful. DLP writes in, how do I study for FAR? I've been out of school for years. The massive amount of information overwhelms me. Help. Okay. So on questions of how to study, it's really broken down into the framework. The answer will always be the Ninja framework. And so on a lot of these, I'm going to take it right back to the Ninja framework and then try to apply that to each unique question as I can. But the Ninja framework, nail the concepts, intense notes, nonstop MCQ, just rewrite your notes. It all comes together. This formula has been around. I came up with it for, that's why it's called Ninja, for 10 years, and it works. And the reason why it works is because it goes back to what I said in the previous question, efficiency. Most courses out there have you do watch video 1, do questions over chapter 1, watch video 2, do questions over video 2. And what's going to happen is in week 8, you're going to forget the questions that you did in week 1. And especially if your course doesn't prescribe intense note taking, you are going to forget it. So if you're underlining or highlighting or whatever, you're going to forget it. And especially if you're just highlighting everything in the book. And so the Ninja framework, it's a more efficient way of studying. And I think it's a more effective way of studying because everything that you do is laser focused. And so nail the concepts. So it doesn't matter what review course you're using. And this is just the basic Ninja framework. And so the basic Ninja framework is nail the concepts. Get through all of your conceptual material. So if you have a big video course, get through all of the videos. Don't work any multiple choice questions. Then, as you're watching the videos, take notes. Taking notes will help you later on. Taking notes will also help you to stay awake. And if you don't know what to write down, just get a legal pad and start writing down like the key principles, the key fact nuggets. So, and then budget your time. So I'm going to get through all of my videos in 2 weeks. I'm gonna get through the entire Ninja book in 2 weeks. So if you have a big bad video course, get through all your videos, like whatever your timeline is, budget it 2 weeks. If you're going through Ninja only, then you want to go through the Ninja book, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. Once you hit those 2 weeks, you're done. Like if you keep dragging it out, you will never get through. So done. Moving on to the nonstop MCQ. This is when you jump into your test bank. And as you're working the MCQ, you are taking notes. So I missed this question. What's the little nugget? Write that down. If you got it correct, but you think you're going to forget later, write it down. So then by the time that you've gone through all of your MCQ, or not all of your MCQ, but all of the time allotted for your MCQ, so whatever, 10 days, 2 weeks, then, sorry, you can comment on that if you want. I can't help it. There are a lot of pluses to having such an unprofessional beard, and there's also some minuses. Anyway, so you have all of your notes from your concepts. You have all of your notes from your MCQ, and then what do you do with it? Like you have like an entire legal pad worth of notes. Well, now is when you just rewrite your notes. Now you could skip that step, and most people probably do, but I've never gotten an email from someone that said, "Hey Jeff, I rewrote my notes and I just wish I hadn't done that." It's actually quite the opposite. It's awful, it's horrible, it's tedious, but what it does is it causes you to rethink what you've written down. You take your long form scribbles and put them into just your little bite-sized nuggets. And it actually helps you to learn the material twice. And then finally, it all comes together. And so what that means is now it's time for your final review. So you have two paths. You can either, or really three paths. You have your notes that you rewrote. You should be reading them every day. If you didn't do that, then read the Ninja notes every day, or read them both every day. So load them on your phone, take them with you wherever you go. And then in your MCQ test bank, start with your weakest topic and work backwards. And yes, the AICPA will know what your weakest topic is. Guarantee you, they will ask you, it will seem like every other question is on that topic. So for FAR, you don't even have to look at the analytics. You know that you're horrible at governmental accounting. So let's start with governmental accounting. And do a set of 20. And if you score 70%, move on to your next weakest topic, bonds or whatever. 70% is an arbitrary number. I know it's not 75, it's not 80, but you have to keep going. So get that 70% and keep going. So start with your weakest topic and work backwards. Now back to your question, DLP. So yeah, FAR. Someone said FAR is an inch deep and a mile wide, and that's true. You have to know a little about everything and then a lot about some things. And I mean, just what your major topics are going to be: inventory, leases, revenue recognition, governmental accounting, and whatever else. And so, I mean, you can't just know a little bit about those. You have to know a lot about those. But there's no topics you can skip. If it were regulation and business law, I'd be like, yeah, but not for FAR. And so while FAR is substantial and horrible, that's the framework that you work through. Really, two keys: follow the Ninja framework, and then within that Ninja framework, you need to budget your time. So either study on average about 7 weeks for FAR, Budget your time. Sherry writes in, I passed FAR in regulation without notes, but failed auditing and BEC. What would you recommend for someone like me? Okay. So, hey, you made it through, in my opinion, the two toughest exams. Of course, anyone who's, of course, you failed auditing BEC, so you might disagree with that. And so, you could keep just not taking notes, but obviously you are thinking about it. And so if you don't want to take notes, one thing that you could do is, it's the NINJ phase of Ninja, just rewrite your notes. You could just take the Ninja notes and rewrite them. It's an excellent way to study the Ninja notes. It will help you to actually have to wade through the material. So that's what I would do. If you don't want to rewrite your notes, I would at least rewrite the Ninja notes, and I would spend a week doing it. So it's like, hey, for the next 7 days, I'm going to rewrite the Ninja notes, and there's X number of pages, and just budget your time. And when you're done with it, you're done with it. Albert says, what kind of advice do you have for someone who is scoring in the mid 60s and above in more than 2 retakes? All right, scoring mid 60s, more than twice. Okay. So some questions to ask yourself, Albert. How hard am I studying? I mean, back when I was studying for the exam, back when I really didn't want to be a CPA, not enough to study, like I just kind of didn't study. I just kind of cram. How hard are you studying? Are you getting up early? Are you studying at lunch? Are you studying late at night? Are you sacrificing? Are you studying? Are you working MCQ with, your eighth, going through Breaking Bad, the entire all 5 or 6 seasons of Breaking Bad for the 8th time? Well, that's a problem. By the way, I saw on Reddit, someone noticed my Breaking Bad references in the MCQ, so that made me happy. How hard are you studying? Are you kind of just going through the motions, or are you studying really hard? If you're like, Jeff, I'm studying so hard, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, then how are you studying? Are you studying using the Ninja framework? If you're studying like the other ways, like chapter 1, question 1, chapter 2, question 2, you should be using the Ninja framework. And so that will map out for you how to study. And again, Ninja framework, nail the concepts, intense notes, nonstop MCQ, rewrite your notes, and it all comes together. And then finally, your training score. So in Ninja, like if you've been trending in the 60s and you show up on exam day and you get a 60, that should not surprise you. It should surprise you if you're just doing a ton of questions and training in the 90s. Well, then that's a problem. But like, if you're trending below passing, and which I get that email a lot. I was trending in the 70 in the low 70s. Like, well, like if you're up against a deadline, I get it. But if you can punt and reschedule your exam because you're trending below a 75 or even below an 80, why are we doing that? So don't take the exam unless you're truly ready. So how hard are you studying? How are you studying? And your training score. All right, Raquel says, I sat for auditing and got a 70. I'm wondering if this is for me. Any study tips? How long should I study for my retake? And another question that came in, I failed odd, and I don't know don't know how to approach the subject again, feeling absolutely lost. So 2 auditing questions back to back. First thing I would say, if you're Ninja, log into the Ninja dashboard and download the Ninja study planners. We have a 4-week study planner and a 7-week study planner. If you're not currently a Ninja, you can go to another71.com/free and sign up and download those for free. You get free notes and audio and stuff like that. Okay, so that's step 1. You need the study planner. And then it goes back to how hard you're studying, Ninja framework, and your training score. So for auditing, or really for any retake, a common mistake that people do on retakes is they cut corners. And I know this because I've had hundreds, maybe thousands of emails come in. People fail, and I usually ask, break it down for me. How did you fail? Or what was your study methodology? And a lot of the time it was, I scored a 73 and then I crammed, got back in there 2 weeks later, and I'm so confused. I scored a 68. So when people tell me that they scored lower, I'm not surprised. The reason for that is when you go take an exam, at that moment in time, you are exam ready. 2, 3, whatever weeks after that, when you get your score, you're not exam ready anymore. So there is a significant short-term memory component to studying for the exam. It would be nice to think that all the FAR information that you're studying, it would all stick, and then you pass the exam and you go on to be a CPA, and then you're just an expert on the FAR material. That's not true. You're only going to be an expert in governmental accounting if you actually work in governmental accounting, and study it, study the minutia really hard. If you go off and you do tax returns for a living, you're going to know tax law really well, but you're not going to be an expert in governmental accounting. And being a CPA actually means that you meet the minimum requirements to serve the public interest. So isn't that comforting to you? And so it's okay to cram your head full of all this stuff and just barf it out on exam day. And so when you go in and retake an exam, when you haven't gone through that cram and barf process, you are going to go back in and likely score worse. And that's why for a retake, you need to go back, you need to start over, start from scratch. So for auditing, you need to go back to the beginning. All right, if you understand, audit sampling really well, and it's just I don't need to study it again, fine. Skip that chapter if you want to. But a common mistake people make is that they just cram and they go back in and study or take their exam. They score worse. They're cutting corners. So make sure that you are not cutting corners. So it's natural, if you scored worse, it's natural to feel like you're completely lost and you want to give up. Well, it's not because you're dumb or because you aren't capable. It's just you're not studying correctly. And people make all sorts of errors when they're studying, and they especially make these errors when they're studying for a retake. Friends don't let friends cut corners on retakes. Friends also don't let friends highlight. So 2 public service announcements. So again, download the Ninja Study Planner. If you're in the dojo, download it from the dashboard, or go to another71.com/free. John writes in, I received a 73 on regulation and I lose auditing at the end of July. At least I have FAR for over a year. Please advise. Well, I can tell you firsthand that losing an exam credit It's really, really horrible. And I wouldn't wish it on most of my worst enemies. Hopefully I don't have too many worst enemies. It's awful. So I get my story. If you want to read my exam story, my sad story, go to another71.com/Jeff. And you can read my exam history. And so I scored back-to-back 74s on regulation. And it's because I didn't want to study AMT, and I didn't want to study light count exchanges with a liability swap. And I got my first 74. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it again. And then I got my second 74. And the stakes were pretty high on the second 74 because one more point and I would have been a CPA or passed the exam. By the way, when you pass the CPA exam, don't post on LinkedIn that you're a CPA. Only post it when your state board of accountancy deems as such, and then add the additional disclosure of what state you're licensed in. Anyway, one more point and I would have been a CPA. Instead, I was back to needing to retake regulation, and I lost my FAR credit. Of all the exams to lose, FAR is the worst. I know from experience. And so, so you can read my story there. Now, I say that just to take some pressure off of you. Don't let the pressure of losing an exam totally mess up your next exam. So this is being recorded at the end of July, and you might lose auditing. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. And it's not ideal, not fun, not what you wanted when you signed up, but that's kind of life. That's kind of CPA exam life. And that's okay. And so if you do lose auditing, the only thing that will keep you from going nuts is just the perspective. Instead of thinking about, I have regulation and doesn't say anything about BEC, but count your blessings that you have FAR. You passed FAR. So it's all about your perspective. You can cry about losing auditing, or you can count your blessings that you passed FAR and that you're doing well on regulation. Just don't make the mistake of cutting corners on regulation. Follow the Ninja framework and get back in there. Again, not the end of the world. If you lose auditing, you'll be all right. Mike says, for regulation, I've got a 72, 74, and 68. And as I said before, it doesn't surprise me when people score worse on an exam. And I'd bet dollars to donuts. I don't really know what that phrase means. I just have a friend that says it. He's an attorney, so he's smart. 72, 74, and 68. I bet you cut corners on your retake. This was just using Wiley CPA, and now I have purchased Ninja. Any advice? Okay, so I get emails all the time. I have course XYZ. I have Becker. I have Wiley. I have Roger, etc. Surgeon, etc. Gleim, Jaeger. How do I use Ninja with my course? And so I'm going to break it down for you how to use Ninja as a supplement with your Wiley course. So going back to the Ninja framework. So again, Ninja framework, nail the concepts, intense notes, nonstop MCQ, rewrite your notes, and it all comes together. So that's the basic framework. So how does it work when you're using Ninja as a supplement? Well, nail the concepts with your base course. So, and in your instance, it's Wiley. Okay. So go through all of your Wiley videos. Take notes over all of your Wiley videos. And from day one, start reading the Ninja notes. From day one, start listening to the Ninja audio when you drive, everywhere you go. It's okay if the audio covers a section that you have never that you haven't covered in your Wiley materials or whatever, it's okay. The goal with the Ninja Audio is to listen to it as many times as possible. People tell me, I listened to your audio so many times, I could hear your annoying voice. They didn't say annoying voice, but I could hear your voice on exam day. Especially those in auditing with Timmy. Okay. So if you know what I'm talking about, you can comment. A lot of Tim A fans out there, let me tell you. So listen to the Ninja Audio as many times as possible. It doesn't matter if you haven't, I almost said pension accounting. That's no longer a thing in the CPA exam. It doesn't matter if you've already covered employee benefit plans, financial statements. You can listen to the Ninja Audio, and by the 5th time you listen to it, then you start covering it in your materials. It'll all make a lot more sense. So day one, week 2, get through your Wiley CPA videos as quickly as possible. Take notes over your Wiley CPA videos. It will help you be less bored, because accounting and CPA exam content is by nature boring, and keep your brain engaged. And then you'll also have something to show for your efforts. Read the Ninja notes many times as possible, just like the audio. It doesn't matter what topic you're on, just read. So nail the concepts. And again, while you're going over your Wiley course, take intense notes. Now, if this is your first time going through your Wiley course, go through the MCQ, the non-set MCQ phase in your Wiley test bank. However, if this is a retake, go through the non-set MCQ phase using Ninja MCQ, because there's a good chance that you've been through the Wiley test bank and you are starting to memorize questions, and that happens a lot. And so switch over to Ninja MCQ from here on out for your MCQ. Now, you spend 10 days, 2 weeks on your MCQ. You're taking killer notes as you're reading the MCQ, as you're working the Wiley, working at Ninja MCQ or Wiley test bank if it's your first time through, and you need to rewrite your notes. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. You're an adult, and it's your exam fee. It's your life. You can do whatever you want. You can do none of this. That's okay too. Rewrite your notes, or if you don't want to rewrite your notes, and what does that mean, rewrite your notes? Go to Staples, whatever, get a stack of legal pads and some really nice pens, like, can't even think of what they're called, but none around here. But just the really nice ones, and start writing and make little bullet points. And so that's how you rewrite your notes. Spend a week doing that, or rewrite the Ninja notes. Perfectly fine too. Legal pads, same thing. Go through the Ninja notes, and then finally it all comes together. Ninja notes plus your weakest MCQ topic. Start with your weakest MCQ topic, work backwards, and then don't move on to your next weakest section until you're scoring in the 70s. Now, something that I would also do is Ninja Sparring. It's our live CPA tutoring that we have 4 nights a week. You can watch it live. Right now, they're at 8 o'clock Central, or 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. But we have like hundreds of hours of sparring replays, and people love them. People don't like me anymore. They like Ninja Mike, so that's okay. My heart will go on. Watch a sparring replay or 2 or 5 over your weaker topics. So you know what they are. Especially if you're in BEC, definitely do cost accounting. Ninja Mike is a CMA whiz, and so he does that topic especially well. Jocelyn says, would love to hear any parents' perspectives or testimonials. I have 3 kids, ages 9, 3, and 1. How to make it work? So there's a lot of people out there studying while going through busy season, public accounting, etc. There's also a lot of people out there who are studying with kids, and everyone feels like they're alone. And how do you balance a job, a mortgage, church commitments, Little League, Sally wants dance lessons, Bobby made the traveling baseball team and they practice 8 days a week. My spouse has these type of expectations for me at home. My boss has these expectations of me at work. How in the world am I going to study? And so you're not alone. Really, it comes back down. Really, it comes to you have to be organized and you have to have structure. So if you're a ninja, you can log into the dojo dashboard. If you're not, you can get the study planner, another71.com/free. So number one, you need to be organized. And then number two, you obviously need to follow the Ninja framework, know the concepts, intense notes, not set MCQ, just rewrite your notes. It all comes together. And the study planner it's actually built into all that. You can also look at my story. When I passed, I had 3 kids. Now I have 10 kids. That's true. And so you can read. My goal is to get through this podcast without one of them coming through like a window and wanting me to turn on the Apple TV. An interesting article from Allison from back in the day. So Allison was a member of Club 75, which predated Ninja Monthly. It's like the oldest of old school. But Allison now owns her own CPA firm. She's a licensed CPA in South Carolina. I forget where in South Carolina, but anyway, back in the day, she wrote this article, The Working Mom Survival Guide. Go to another71.com. Yeah, that didn't work. Let's see. I need to change that. Another71.com/moms. Don't go to another71/moms. That won't work. I don't even know what that is. But go to another71.com/moms and read Allison's story. She has some really good tips on how to balance the expectation of being a mom and studying and working. And even if you don't work outside of the home, we all know that stay-at-home moms have an extremely hard job too. My wife's always been a stay-at-home mom, and I see it every day. So do that. And I actually want to interview Allison. Be a good follow-up interview. And so look forward to doing that. So I hope that is helpful. Nino writes in, for MCQ, what strategy do you recommend? Do I need to see all of the questions? So the MCQ are part of the N and the A in Ninja Nonstop MCQ. It all comes together. I've never really dug into the data. Anecdotally, most people do not make it through all the MCQ in any platform. That's why when some of the review course marketing says we have 8 billion questions, it's like, okay, well, try to get through 1,000. And so most people do not get through all their MCQ. And so that's why adaptive learning is key. Most platforms have adaptive learning. I'm not going to say Ninja is special in that regard. Not all adaptive learning is created equally, but so the Ninja adaptive learning, it will hit on your weak areas, and you might not like that. You might be offended by that. So I see posts sometimes like in Reddit, like people really discouraged because Ninja's kicking their butt. That's a good thing. Getting your butt kicked is a good thing. So yeah, not some MCQ. It's not how many MCQ you do. It's you work as many as you can through your allotted window, however you budget, 10 days, 2 weeks. And you can either do it in like topic mode. I'm a huge fan of topic mode, or you can just do like, wide open, hit me with your best shot mode. I don't like that as much because in topic mode, you can take notes easier. And then when it all comes together, you're going to be doing sets of 20 and, you score 50%, then 60%, then 70%, boom, move on to your next weakest topic. So it's not how many MCQ, it's how focused you are while you're doing it and your methodology while you're doing it. Josh writes in, I had 2 of the exact same simulations on both of my FAR exams. I've contacted the AICPA, but I'm not getting any guidance. I don't know this for sure, but my guess is that, they have however many simulations in the official Prometric / AICPA test bank. I'm sure it's a lot. I doubt they have language coded. If this is Josh, then don't show them sim number 3. They've already seen that. I doubt that. So I think it's just random luck. Now you could see that. Okay. All right. So you leave your exam center, you got a simulation over XYZ. Man, that one really kicked my butt. I'm going to go back and learn that topic and go over that. I remember in Ninja MCQ, there was a sim topic that's pretty similar to that. I'm going to go over that. So I might not get that exact sim, but I might get a similar sim. So I guess you could look at it as kind of a blessing in disguise, but I don't think you're going to get any guidance on that because I just don't think. I think it was just a coincidence. Miriam says, I need help towards a strategy for my audit retake after a 54. I'm using only Ninja this time. Okay, so we've gone through the Ninja framework just in general and how to use it as a supplement. Now we're going to break it down how to study with Ninja only. And all right, so people I get this email all the time as well. How do I study Ninja only? So either their course expired, they don't have a course, or they hate their course, and so they're going only Ninja. So this is how you do it. You nail the concepts with your Ninja book. Get through the Ninja book, 2 weeks, whatever. Like read it slowly, skim it, read the bullet points, whatever. But after you've met your time budget, you're done. Like if you budget 2 weeks, you can't spend 3 weeks. And so be quick, but don't hurry. So I have 14 days. There's 600 pages. That's, do the math. How many pages per day? And you have to keep pace. And so that tells you if you can read or if you can skim. And how do you take notes over that with an intense notes, which is the next one. People sometimes struggle with taking notes over the Ninja book, and I understand why. Just take notes over just kind of the highlights if you can. If you can't, skim it, and don't worry about it. You can always rewrite the Ninja notes later. Week 1, start reading the Ninja notes and the Ninja audio and listening to the Ninja audio. Again, you will cover things in the Ninja audio that you haven't covered in the Ninja book. That's okay. Get through the Ninja audio as many times as possible between now and exam day. That's how the Ninja audio will work for you. So you're taking notes over the Ninja book as you can. Again, it's hard to take notes over a book. If you're using a video course, it's easier. The instructor says, hey, check this out. Well, you write that down. Oh, skip the phase. Non-step MCQ. This is where the magic happens. This is where you really start learning. It's when you take these bulk CPA exam concepts, or accounting concepts, and it really shows you how the AICPA tests over this material. And in my opinion, the MCQ are the most critical part of your entire journey because you can study all sorts of concepts all day long, but it's really how the AICPA tests it that matters. And so the little wrinkles, the little nuances, and take notes of your MCQ. If you miss it, write it down. If you got it right, but you think you'll miss it later, write it down. Rewrite your notes. Again, if you either didn't take notes or you don't want to rewrite those notes, then rewrite the Ninja notes. Worst case scenario, you're like, Jeff, I'm not doing any of that, and you can't make me. Then really read the Ninja notes as many times as possible. And then finally, it all comes together. Ninja notes, weakest MCQ topic. So start with your weakest MCQ topic and work backward. Mini testlets of 20 questions. Move on to your next weakest topic. And then sparring. Like, watch as many sparring sessions as possible. And again, Ninja Mike is a rock star. And you can attend a live session and ask a question. You can submit a question. Hey, I'm struggling with such and such. You can submit a question. Ninja Mike will cover it. And so all of that is covered in Ninja Monthly, all for the $67 fee. Shameless plug. Hannah says, I like the abundance of the MCQ. I wish there were solution videos where you went through the problems and sims. So we don't do that with each MCQ, but again, in the sparring, Ninja Mike, it's topical. So, hey, here's the topic. Here's the questions that we're going to cover 10 questions over this topic, and we're going to break down these questions in Excel, go over the journal entries, etc. So if you can't follow sparring live, definitely watch the replay. That's all in Ninja Monthly. Eric writes in, I've tried your method, waking up early, lunch, and late, but I run into burnout and losing study motivation. And then within the same vein, studying for 3 hours a day. Daisha says, studying for 3 hours a day is exhausting. How do you sustain this tempo for a year? Well, a couple of things. Number one, don't start studying for the CPA exam. This is for all you college students out there. Don't start studying for the CPA exam before you're ready. I tell people, not until you're 8 weeks out from your exam. You will burn out. It is a certainty. Enjoy your life while you still have it, because your life is over once you start the exam. All right, so you have this life. It's over. Now, how do you get a life back? You need to budget your time. So L plan, early, lunch, late. If you can't get up early, that's just your reality, then this is all about you. Punt. But the question is, and that's fine, but there has to be flex in your schedule somewhere. And maybe it's maybe you give up fantasy football this fall. All right, never mind. Don't give up fantasy football. The last year has been so crappy. Anything but fantasy football. But you're going to have to give up something, and because you need to make better use of your time. And so if you're staying up super late, you can't get up early. So maybe you finish your day and, hey, you know what? It's 10 o'clock at night. Instead of messing around for 2 hours, I'm actually going to go to bed. And then I'm going to get up 2 hours earlier at 4:30 instead of 6:30 and study. Now, granted, your life is going to be terrible for 2 weeks as you adjust to that. But once you adjust, congratulations, you're now a morning person. You're now that old person that goes to bed at 9 o'clock on a Saturday because you get up at 4:30. Lunch. Man, so within your office culture, if you still go to the office, like if it's not cool to sit at your desk and like if you're expected to work while you're at your desk, even if you're on your lunch break, then leave. Go down to the coffee shop and find a socially distanced table and and study. Leave if you have to. But you're going to have to fit in those 15 to 20 hours a week, period. And if you can't, then it's time to hit timeout on the exam. But my guess, most people have that flex unless you just have like extreme circumstances. So again, follow that L plan, get that Ninja Study Planner with the L plan, and go to, you can get that by going to another71.com/free, or if you're in the dojo, just log in to the dojo. David says, is Ninja CPA a standalone review course, or would you recommend that I use it as a supplement? Ninja CPA is a standalone review course. It has everything that your basic review course has, except for the expensive price. And I think some people, because it's so cheap, affordable, they doubt that it could be a standalone course. That's why I have a 30-day money back, no drama guarantee. Like, you don't believe me? Go for it. I'll give you your money back if you think I'm lying, or if you discover that I misrepresented it. Yeah, so Ninja CPA is a standalone review course. However, most people do not use Ninja as a standalone review course because by the time they've even heard of Ninja, we don't show up at college campuses. We don't, fly to different coasts and set up booths at various meetings and wine and dine accounting professors. We don't do that. That's why our course is $67. So all of that stuff, who pays for it? You do. So most people use Ninja as a supplement, and why not? You already have your expensive review course, whether it was somebody paid for it, whether it was your employer or your grandma, or you're making payments from now until the end of time. Like, you already have it, so use it. That's why go back to how to use Ninja and as a supplement. Use it. But is Ninja a standalone review course? Yes. And we have a tutorial on the another 71 site. Go down to the footer. You'll see how to pass with Ninja only. If you want to see how Ninja stacks up with other review courses, or if you want to use Ninja with another review course, you go to, I don't know why I just coughed into my elbow. No one else is around me. Maybe I should have a mask on too. Go to another71.com/compare, and you'll see how Ninja, just the features, like what does Ninja include for $67 with the review courses. And again, you can use Ninja standalone or with any course. More and more people are using it standalone. All right, let's jump into the chat. Well, all right. So the comments are always interesting, and I'm glad that they weren't streaming in real time. Some of these I can't even read out loud. Please let me know when I can buy updated material. Ninja materials are updated, and so they're updated for July. There, I'll show this one. Wet Fart says, that's a hell of a stutter. Thank you. You know what? Sometimes I do stutter, especially when I'm live and I'm nervous. So also smack my lips, and that's just how it goes. All right, with the 8-mile route with that one. With the Ninja method, how long do you recommend studying for FAR? 7 weeks. If you're on an accelerated time frame, then I would study for 4 weeks max. And again, you go to another71.com/free, and we have the study planner with the Ninja method. How long do you recommend? Regulation, 7 weeks. And 10 kids, congrats. Yep. Our house is very active. I'll say that. And people say, man, your kids are so well behaved. And I'll say, you didn't see us this morning. We were trying to get out the door for church. How long would you say to prep for each exam? How many weeks out before the test date? Ideally, FAR and regulation, 7 weeks. So 7 to 8 weeks max. All right, little soapbox here. I don't care who it is, never, or who says this, never study for an exam more than 8 weeks. Ever, period. If they say longer than 8 weeks, they're 110% wrong. Okay. And I don't care how many letters they have after their name. Past 8 weeks, you get into diminishing returns. So you get emails. I studied for 3 months for FAR and I scored a 65. Well, no kidding. 8 weeks max. So regulation and FAR, 8 weeks max. BEC and auditing, 5 or 6 weeks is kind of the sweet spot there. All right. In closing, if you have a question for me, you can leave it in the comments. If you leave it after this has been recorded, I will include it in the next podcast. Or you can email me and tell me about my stutter at jeff@another71.com. And you can hit me up on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Twitter, Reddit, and you can DM me in most of those places or the YouTubes. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Currently have an AMA on Reddit, and it's a long link, but you can go to another71.com/Reddit, and you can tell me I stutter there if you want. Or go to, you want our free downloads, free study planners, free notes, free week of the Ninja MCQ test bank. And so go to another71.com/free. Capitalism alert. If you want to become a ninja, go to another71.com/ninja. Ninja monthly is $67 a month. No commitment. Come and go as you want. Stay 3 months. Stay 1 month. Come back again after 3 months. Come back never again. It's all your choice. Full course or supplement, 30-day guarantee. If you don't like it, no questions asked and no drama. No drama. Subscribe to the another71.com podcast on Spotify. Someone asked me if you're on Spotify. I was like, I don't know. I looked up. Hey, we are on Spotify. I've never listened to myself on Spotify, and nor will I ever. Please rate, review, download, help us out. And again, thanks for watching and listening. Again, leave comments in the chat and or email me directly, jeff@another71.com. We'll do another one real soon. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Be good, everyone. Take care. And I